This is my deep dive series where I take a look at someone who's a major player inside the music industry, but not a household name.
Today we are talking about Jason White, primarily known as the touring guitarist for Green Day. But boy oh boy does this guy deserve way more credit, and today we're going to give it to him. So stick around to the end of the video to find out how this unassuming Axeman influenced the entirety of the punk rock scene, while at the same time keeping a low profile, giving him the riches without the problems of fame. Oh baby, baby, it's Jason White time. Jason White was created in North Little Rock on November 11th, 1973, making him just a year younger than his future bandmates in Green Day. Early on, Jason discovered a passion for punk rock and soon began tracking the phenomenon through his small town. In 1982, Jason would begin guitar lessons at the age of 9, which didn't initially pan out, although he would return to the guitar fold at age 12. Jason also has two brothers, Mark White and Danny White. While not a sprawling metropolis like New York, Little Rock has a punk scene where little Jason would see bands like Spit Boy, Green Day, East Bay bands like Fire Hose and Flaming Lips. There was a strange southeast scene brewing from such places as Tulsa, Fayetteville, Memphis, and New Orleans. Memphis was a massive draw for many musicians, and it was there that Jason caught acts like Naked Ray Gun, Fugazi, Social Distortion, and more. DC was another locale that influenced one Jason White as he caught these mind-blowing van tours that were going on at the time. The earliest documentation of Jason White's shreddage starts with a pop-punk band called the Numbskulls, with Andy, Colin, Shobin, and Tony. Jason and Colin Brooks, who we'll mention later in the video, shared guitar duties in this outfit during 1988, briefly before Jason would give his vocal cords a workout by fronting Step by Step the following 2 years, 1989 and 1990. Jason was merely freshman. While fronting Step by Step and then joining Chino Horde as bassist, Jason White met Green Day for the first time in Memphis, Tennessee. On Green Day's very first tour in 1990, Jason's band opened up for the up-and-coming Billy, Mike, and John at the Antenna Club. The legend goes that Green Day were late to this show, with Jason and company struggling to stretch out their 10-song set that they had in their arsenal. The club closed and Green Day showed up after the place shut down. Refunds were being given out. It was a very sad day in punk rock fandom, for sure. But the guys were apologetic to Jason and invited him and his crew to party with them, and that is how Jason became friends with God's favorite band. A bass player as well, Jason landed a bassist gig in Chino Horde immediately following his tenure in SBS. Oh, SBS. Whatever happened to you? Jason's direction was always onward and upward. He was more than a triple threat as a vocalist, bassist, and guitarist. He could write music and lyrics. If this guy could bang on a drum, we would no longer use the phrase, nobody's perfect. But here we are, and none of us are perfect still. Chino Horde made good use of Jason until 1993, but Jason himself was making even better use of his name, playing in 2 other bands during this run with Chino Horde. The guitarist balanced his hours between keeping rhythm in Chino Horde, doing guitars and vocals in Fishwagon, and focusing on guitar alone in Monsula. Fishwagon was a brief 1991 stint, while Monsula ran concurrent with Chino Horde for a bit, with Jason shredding their noise from 1992 to 1993. Man. His time with Chino Horde came after his move from Arkansas to California After graduating high school in 1992, a double twist of fate or a melody that she sings the revolution. Okay. December of 1992 was when that huge fateful move happened. The touring band he had mingled with during his high school years had talked him into it, with the biggest talks of these being Southern California. Spitball's drummer had a place to stay and welcomed Jason into the punk rock fold. Welcome to paradise. Oh, okay. Jason literally did the whole punk rock warehouse lifestyle, and it worked out for him. Did I say that band name correctly? Probably not. Spitball. Okay. Anyhow, Jason and the Spit Whatever drummer were interested in each other, and they stayed together in the Oakland area. Now, Chino Horde's self-titled record is on Spotify, and it's definitely worth a listen or 13. I would say maybe 12 would be sufficient. Jason kept his ties with the punk music scene, and one of the first shows he attended off the stage was Rancid, with one Billy Joe Armstrong on guitars. This was during the time that Rancid were considering adding a full-time member, a slot that would eventually be filled by Lars Friedrichsen, DOA, Econochrist, and Rancid, all at Gilman Street. That is just too good to be true for any punk rock fan of any ilk. 5 bands in 6 years. Wow, Jason is the busiest punk rock guitarist out there. But Jason was not busy enough. And in the year that Green Day released Dookie, Jason White joined a band called 16 Bullets as a non-singing bassist. And he would not so famously appear in the When I Come Around music video while Green Day were busy becoming household names. Jason's relationship with Billy Joe Armstrong was blossoming as both men dedicated every waking second of their life to punk rock. Billy Joe was playing in Rancid, Green Day, and a little indie outfit called Pinhead Gunpowder, whose lineup change constitutes an entire other really long YouTube video. The band formed and reformed yet again, only to lose guitarist Sarah Kirsch in 1994. Billy Joe and Bill Snyder knew just the man to call. There was an Axeman out there that could juggle 3 bands at once, and he was only keeping rhythm for one at the moment. Billy and Bill rang up Basin, and Pinhead Gunpowder's final form, as of 2022, would be born. Jason White would shine within the Powder Band brighter than any other of his previous gigs. His songwriting and showmanship would carry the banner of this band into new heights. La 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 la. With 6 songs penned by Jason and 11 where he took over the lead microphone, there are moments where it felt as if Pinhead Gunpowder was Jason's band. While the band was the brainchild of a Aaron Comet Bus, each band member was allowed at least a few stabs in the heart at writing lyrics and music, making one of the most sincere forms of punk rock the world has ever seen. Again, the friendship between Jason and Julie Bow Legweek grew Armstronger. Pinhead Gunpowder is not the only rotating cast of characters that Jason associates with, as in 1996, the guitarist joined forces with Arkansas band The Big Cats. With these feline rock and rollers, Jason would trade positions over the years, playing every role in the band except for drummer. Nobody's perfect, remember? Jason is a drum lesson away from being perfect. He would leave that for skilled skinsman Colin Brooks, who we mentioned earlier in the video, from Jason's first band, the Numbskulls, with the Z. The Big Cats strayed from punk rock for more of a pure rock and roll sound, which sounds impossible, but it works for them. It's perhaps the furthest away from the Green Day aesthetic, a music made to entertain a different crowd, perhaps. Another successful venture for Jason, the Big Cats are a meowing. The Pinhead Gunpowder situation was artistically valuable for him, but the gigs and recording sessions were few and far between. And Jason was used to juggling at least 2 bands at the same time. Much like Jilly Bo Legweek had filled in spots in Rancid, Jason White picked up some Green Day gigs in 1997, but again, it was not a full-time thing. In that same year, he and Billie Joe Armstrong went in as partners behind Adeline Records as their bond strengthened. Jason White would also be a part of the Bridge School benefit shows that Green Day performed. With members spread over multiple popular bands, Pinhead simply weren't active very much at all. So Jason started his own band called The Influence in 1999, where Jason would do vocals and guitars. It takes a lot of cylinders firing on all cylinders to be in Green Day. Boom, boom, bang, bang! But 9 different bands that sound this good is no accident. It's all Jason White. It's that Jason White sound, you know? In 1999, none of our computers exploded and caused our hearts apocalypse. But Jason White became a touring member of Green freaking Day. Jason White, ladies and gentlemen, can be seen rocking out alongside Jilly, Mike, and Trey from this point on, helping to flesh out the massive ideas lurking in Jilly Bo's head. Those 3 gentlemen have enough info about them on the internet, so let's stay focused on Jason White and not those Green Day guys. The American Idiot hype was at an all-time high, and like Billie Joe before him, Jason got married during one of those extreme peaks in their career. In February 19th of 2005, Jason married his fiancée, Jana Rollins. There was a small ceremony in Little Rock, Arkansas, which was officiated by Larry Smith. Jana is the daughter of Calvin and Nancy Rollins, and during the marriage, she wore a white lace dress with a halter top and pink adornment. The dress was backless and brought in from China with sequins and seed pearls, the highest cylinder shooting caliber, of course, for a wedding dress. Jan's twin sister Julie was the maid of honor, and other bridesmaids' names may pique Green Day fans' ears with names like Amy and Amanda, but make of that what you will. There were also Megan, Lindsay, and other women who, as of filming, have not been made into Green Day songs. So that's a whole nother video as well. Jason White has been speculated to be in the band The Network. Although Jason has never commented on the Network situation, there is a secondary guitarist in this mysterious band, and his name is her name is Balducci. And some idiots think for some reason that Jason and Balducci are one and the same. But I can verify that this is absolutely not true. I believe that Balducci is some guitarist from Pretty or the Kicks or something, you know? Jason's status in Green Day became bigger during the Idiot era as White began appearing in music videos beyond his When I Come Around cameo. During the excessive touring of the American Idiot days, Jason and family lived in Missouri because, as he says, it didn't really matter where home was at the moment. They say home is where the heart is, but what a shame. Because, they were traveling the world on the American Idiot tour. Wake Me Up When September Ends, Working Class Hero, and multiple other Green Day videos were made better by Jason White's presence moving forward. Oh, love. Oh, love. And remember that Network fiasco? Well, forget it! Because now we're talking about Fiasco Frosco Lee, the shredding captain in the 2007 formed Foxborough Hot Tubs, who stupidly claimed to be Green Day upon their arrival in the world in the MySpace days. But the gall of these fellows, they're not wearing masks. We can see who these guys are. we can clearly see that these gentlemen are not Green Day. Personally, I believe that the Tubbies are the network in disguise. Jason White, people, is in 17 different bands. Guys, wow! 2010 was a big year for Jason with his solo single Hungover and its B-side I'm a Mess, causing quite a stir on iTunes, at least for me. In 2013, Jason's life changed forever now as he welcomed son Sonny into the world. And his star power rose exponentially as he promoted was promoted from touring guitarist to official band member of Green Day for the Trilogy era, a position he held from 2012 to 2016, with Green Day seemingly cutting ties with every decision they made on that Triple Threat project. During those troubled times, Jason formed yet another band called California, a sort of combo of Green Day and Big Cats vibes, and that's an ongoing adventure as well. Shortly after California was formed, Jason was diagnosed with tonsil cancer, and in a rare sighting of his wife, it was her that corrected those that were saying he was suffering from esophageal cancer. It was in fact tonsil cancer. I was undergoing cancer treatment myself in 2014, and I felt as if Jason White, myself, and Mike Dirnt's wife, Brittany, were all fighting the battle together. And in 2022, we're still breathing on our own. Green Day men don't like taking breaks, but it was long overdue. For 26 years, Jason had been playing guitar nonstop, every second of every day and night. He took this time off he needed away from his part in the spotlight before picking up the axes yet again. Rounding out his current band roster is the Cover-Ups with Billy Joe, Mike of Green Day, as well as Bill Snyder and Chris Dugan. And the best part of the Cover-Ups is that aside from the Doog, each band member sings lead vocals. We need more of those dirty vocals, man. But this is all about Jason White, so I gotta shut up about my Van Gogh love. I mean my Mike Dirnt. Anyway, moving into the 2020s. Money, 2020. Jason, now a father of 2 children, has stayed busy with a grueling homeschooling program and has done some publicity on his own, away from the Green Day band from Oakland, California. Jason has played some shows on Records 1, 2, 3, 4 Go. Their Instagram page had some live performances from him, and he is still getting the best of both worlds. He's getting that sweet, sweet Green Day paycheck without the downside, without the media circus on his trail now once again, boy.
Balducci, Jason White, is the smartest man in punk rock.